Hi, welcome to my video. I'm Jennifer Roberts. You're catching me on my YouTube channel, True Divine 44, Bitchute channel and Facebook, both at True Divine 44 also. And you can get me at The True Divine on Instagram and Twitter. Any likes, shares, subscribes, comments, greatly appreciated. And much love to all of you who are doing that thus far. So this is the reading for the 6th of the 2nd, 6th of February 2021. I realise I say the date differently in the UK to a lot of my American brothers and sisters, so I try and say the full date. So this is where I put out the free content that I combine the energy work that I do and the tarot work that I do to help bring you a narrative to support your day, reach your highest potentials, recognizing the energies within you, around you, and within others, and hopefully giving you a bit of a insight of how to react, how to act, and when to pause and take heed, maybe as well as other things. So I think I'm going to claim the regular title that me and Candy Gem had a giggle about, and be the regular tarot weather lady, tarot weather girl, maybe, whatever. So this is what you can do with it. You can take what resonates and you can ditch what does not, because it is general. So it is take what helps you, what serves you, and there's no offense to whatever you ditch. So I'm pausing a bit because I'm trying to make a bit of sense of this reading. So we have, okay, so on the bottom of the deck, yeah, that is funny. On the bottom of the deck, we have the Page of Wands. This keeps coming up, and throughout this year and a lot of the back end of last year, we had very repetitive cards, but that were expanding, ever expanding into the journey that we're in right now. And so they all have something else to say on each day, or indeed they have something to impact the previous message even more. That's funny, the color change. But this Ace of Wands is easily distracted, like moi. And so he's on this journey, he's looking out, he's excited, he's looking forward. And so the key aspect of this Page of Wands that keeps coming up for the time that we're in right now is indeed the fact that it is not fixed. It's very flowing, very mutable, very able to bend with the direction of the wind. He's holding his wand up here and almost taking in the direction of the wind as to, see where the day takes him. He's got a goal. He's a page. He wants to take something forward. He wants to get a message across, but at the same time, so he has an end goal, but he's the kind of page energy that doesn't mind acquiring other goals along the way, in that is not fixed to one certain path, pretty relaxed about the fact that he'll get to where he needs to get to eventually, but he's not going to cut off the journey halfway, or he's not going to cut off other opportunities that come up at different points in the journey. He's going to, go with the flow. And this is a real important message for the underpinning of the energies of today and most days right now, in that everything in the external forces, the low frequency magic, is in depth and real right now to fix you into a label, a category, a side, an opinion, to have you fixed in any which way. Is a win to the so-called powers that be, or anybody for that matter in your individual life that doesn't wish you to reach your highest potential, or have your most bliss, or have your most abundance. That there's senses of jealousy there, or there's senses of abuse there, or suppression there. So there's this energy, within a lot of people's individual lives, that as above, reflecting below. And indeed, very much from the shadowy hidden figures that are puppeting the puppets on the collective stage, whether it be in religion, social media, influencers, or politics, whatever it might be. they're trying desperately to fix you into whatever spell it is, whatever side it is, whatever affiliation it is, whatever opinion it is. They're trying to fix you and cement you into that. Why? Because when you are fixed, let's say if all of your muscles you were running along, you forgot to be this page of wands, and all of a sudden you got so fixated on something that even your muscles started to become fixed. They weren't flexible anymore. They weren't. You would start to tear. You would start to damage your Achilles heel. You would start to. There has to be a certain level of, like a tree, a certain bend, in the branches, so that the branches don't snap. There has to be a certain amount of lubricant, within those branches, so that, when they get old and high winds happen, they're fixed, they snap. And so this is where the bendiness of self today and all days is so important right now, regarding not being fixed into somebody else's agenda or somebody else's way of thinking or want for your life. To be in flow and mutable means that you are making yourself immune, funnily enough, to being broken, to being snapped. And there is a lot of low frequency magic going on right now that wants to snap people, both mentally, physically, emotionally, spiritually. They want to snap people, to have people in a weakened state. So to be flexible, to have that plasticity about self in all areas of self, even having that plasticity to question yourself as to where are you fixed? Where do you need to bend more? Where do you need to maybe open up your mind or your emotions more, or indeed your passions, with this being fire? So it has, although it's a page, it's got a huge message all the time, but indeed right now, in that it is a powerful way of being. The Page of Wands can be very childlike, very childlike in the best way, inquisitive, seeking, wanting. There's this exploring nature, like any child has, that is healthy, wants to explore themselves, wants to explore things, toys. They want to explore different walks. They want to walk a different way home to what they usually do. I know Theodore and William do. They want to explore. Abigail still does. You never know where she's going to walk to or how long it's going to take her to get back, because she'll find awesome things along the way, or she'll meet awesome people, or she'll find that she bumps into somebody who needed a random discussion. And that happens all the time to both her and I, that you have these random discussions and you realize you needed me, or actually I needed you. I needed to hear what you said, or I needed to hear myself say this to you. And so there's so many gifts in having this plasticity and having this flexibility of all aspects, all areas of self. Now we've got on the bottom of the other deck, we have the Ace of Wands. So where we have this Page of Wands here and this Ace of Wands here, this is with this plasticity, with this flexibility and inquisitive nature, we have a new passion, a new beginning, regardless of what else is going on or what else anybody wants to try and cause, whether it be so-called powers that be or people in your individual life. There's a new passion, there's a new drive, there's a new force to what you want to achieve and get done and see. And so this is such a cool card, this Ace of Wands. I'm going to put it up real close. So we see here all of the things that he's got. He's got the globe there, and that it doesn't mind traveling. It doesn't mind going over great distances. The constellation up there, and so and it's a fire. Is that Sagittarius? Does that represent Sagittarius? I don't know. I'll have to check that. And the fire is burning, and he's sharpening his spear. And there's an enlightenment there, because there's something that this Page of Wands has discovered, that creates a new passion, a new point of focus, a new point of drive to go towards something or someone, or do something, or achieve something, or create something. But there's something, is this point of focus, this point of enlightenment, this gift that, you know, is being given. And this doorway, this not doorway, sorry, window, is like a portal to the new. And again, the sky outside looks very fiery. Even the tree itself being made to look like a constellation, showing that everything has something to discover in it. All of the books here, like this library of books, all of these things, these hidden secrets to discover, to put together, to plot together, to find the connections. There's passion in this card for anything like that. All of the experimental glass bottles and stuff here, and the burner, you know, there's an experimental, inquisitive mind wanting to get something created, wanting to get something done. I love that card. The scrolls on the floor, it's a real it's a really good depiction for me of the Ace of Wands. I really love that card. So we've got, as the first card, we've got the world. You've got the whole world at your feet and you didn't even know it. Well, you did, I suppose. But this is where there are certain aspects of the world. You know, these are the 4 cardinal signs represented in the world. So they're the fixed signs, the fixed points of the zodiac. But then there's this divine feminine energy in the world, and that being that the world itself, the physical world, the ground that you stand on, to the animals that represented, to the rocks, to that's divine feminine energy. It is Gaia. And so this is where, and there's this abundant wreath here, and the point of as above, so below, and in reverse, vice versa. And so we've got this, and there being balance in nature, showing that you can really balance out in nature. And whatever is going on in the external world, whatever forces are trying to create an imbalance, that is their manufactured illusion. And the only reason it feels real is because they're given enough room to make it real. They're given enough room in your mind, in your emotions, in your passions, like your fire, and in your earth, on your body, to make it real, to make it a reality. Because in fact, to look outside your window, you will see that the birds still have a branch to land on, that there are still berries growing, or that there is still, you know, wherever you might live. I don't know why I want to say snakes in the grass. There's still these aspects of nature that are maintaining balance. But yet you turn on a TV, you turn on social media, you turn on, you have a discussion with a friend who isn't at the same frequency, or a family member, and whoa, you think like, damn, did I not just look out the window and see balance? Did I not just look out the window and see life going on regardless? Yes, you did, because we are living in 2 different worlds. We got hijacked a long time ago because beings who puppeted people, I feel, realized how they could harness the mind. And in that mind, because we are manifesting beings more than most realize, in that mind, they can create a whole different reality. They can put veils over the reality that is the balance of nature. And these are manufactured veils that feel very real, because along the way, generation after generation, we've bought into them. But in fact, the moment we do not accept them in our own lives, the moment we say no to whatever fake authority, and I don't know how much they have to prove that it's all fake, because the same rules do not apply to them, the so-called powers that be, or the so-called elite, that do to the people in mass. You know, how much more do they have to, you know, laugh at us and say that this is fake? You do know that, because if it wasn't fake, this kind of law would apply to all of us. You know, this kind of law would, you know, it would, everybody would be held to the same standards, and they're not. And so this is where that you need to stand up in your own individual life. So in your own individual life, have you got people around you that are trying to create false senses of reality, that are trying to create chaos in your life, that are trying to maintain chaos, or trying to gain their own order out of chaos, in that they cause the chaos and then they come swooping in like the knight or queen in shining armor and say, it's all okay, I know exactly how we go forward from here. Well, they knew exactly how they wanted to go forward before they caused the chaos. They just knew that if they caused a certain chaos, then they could come up with the solution they'd already thought about that suited them quite fine. It didn't matter if it didn't suit you and your highest potential. And so this is where we become fixed in illusions of reality that we think we are stuck in, and we are not. And the more we realize that, and the more individuals that realize that en masse, the more we lift the veils and the illusions of these realities. And that is one huge good thing that is happening right now, and has been happening since last year and the year before that, in that there's been such obvious cavities, there's been such obvious showings of the illusion of their authority, or the fact that they are held to the same rules or anything like that, that it's been shown very much so, which has woken up a lot more people than we would have had woken in maybe 2017, 18, even 19, because things have become so obvious that we've caught up a few numbers here, and we have opportunity to do so even more. But we need to react to it differently. We need to stop still drumming to their tune. When we think we're going against the man, when we think we're, sticking it to the man, I think that's the right saying, then, by doing protests, by doing anything like that, that's actually necessary to a point, but we're sort of past that now. We need to play them at their own game, call them out, say, I don't, on these news stations that they put up, go on and comment and say, I don't believe you, you're lying. All of this is a lie, and we can see it. The more people that can send that kind of stuff viral, and the frequency that they send back, that they feel, believe you me, they've got people feeling out for these frequencies and equipment, the more that they will realize that, oh, we are the few. We're the few. They're starting to remember. They're starting to claim back their birthrights. They're starting to claim back their knowledge. And so this is applicable in your individual life and from the collective stage. Long story short, but not that short. So we've got the Wheel of Fortune, number 10. So we've got this, this is a huge combination. It's coming slamming in with the two big heavies. And so this Wheel of Fortune, it's got all of the signs on the zodiac on it, and it is being turned. And so it is going in a direction. But you can see on this Wheel of Fortune, there's this compass that is mirroring the wheel that is going round on top of it. And depending on which way you create your world, or allow your world to be created, or allow your world to be controlled or created for you, that will show which way the compass will go, which direction your life will continue to go in. So this really is an opportunity today to take your whole world in your hands and make of it what you really feel driven with this Page of Wands and this Ace of Wands to do with it, to make of it, to reach. And so we have the next card is the Nine of Swords, and you can see this card is, devastating. It's black behind them, the swords being thoughts, words, action to a certain extent, intellect, wisdom, and this person is obviously getting no sleep, or if very little sleep or broken sleep, and it often represents nightmares. And these nightmares, you know, are very, very unpleasant with this card. We've got here, what is that on that card? So yeah, we've got here on the side of the bed, look, we've got even a nightmarish carving. I don't know if you can get that, but you know, somebody else slaying somebody else, and we have all of the zodiac signs represented on the quilt, so that it feels like the whole world is on this person's shoulders rather than in their hands. And all of the worries of the world, all of the worries of the world infiltrating their personal life is causing a lack of sleep and causing nightmarish situations. And for some people, it's going to be that you're witnessing this in somebody that you care about, or indeed just witnessing it en masse in the collective. Me too. And, you know, it can be difficult to not take that on board, especially if you're an empath or intuitive. And we all are to a certain extent, but if you've got that heightened sense of empathy, of intuitiveness, psychic abilities, there's going to be, it's heavy. And so, and in your subconscious, it may be that you are, put it this way, I put a video out, the organs and the orchestra. If you haven't looked at it, go and look at it. But it is a brief synopsis of the most horrific visions. And I'll be honest, I get fabulous visions, I get fabulous travels, but I also get what is going on visions, and that are not pleasant, that are very, very grotesque. And it took a long time to learn that if I wanted to be able to still be around to do any good, I had to be able to observe these things and speak about these things, and almost not without lack of empathy, not with, of course, so much empathy and compassion, but enough compassion and empathy to know that if I wanted to be able to go on without breaking, if I wanted to be that page of wands that was going to continue speaking my truth and seeking more truth, then I needed to find a way to not break. And so I have to observe it with a certain new wisdom, which is of detachment, to not be of the visions anymore, because that was really breaking and draining. And to be honest, you know, you'll not stick around for very long if you get in visions like that and you're not detached somewhat from it, and realizing in the wisdom that, and believe you me, that's not easy at first, because everything in your emotional state wants to stay attached. But the wisdom is that if you want to do the best good, if you want to be able to look at this still and speak of this still and not want to put my head in the sand, then I needed to find a way to not break. And it is from a place of observation rather than part of. And so I think for a lot of you, this advice would go too, in that there needs to be a way of you detaching from the collective's pain, and detaching from that and learning how to be an empath, from the observant state, from the transmutation of energy state. And I don't think I know for myself, from my truth, is that there's been a lot of play on the empath journey to even feed the psyop into the spiritual community of, and I know this might not be popular with a lot of people, of empaths being victims, because it is difficult. It can be heavy. It can feel like torture sometimes, feeling someone else's pain so real, and so apparent. But at the same time, I feel that this is being a psyop, because it takes the strength of the warrior heart of an empath, being able to observe whatever pain it is, observe whatever bliss it is, observe whatever it is, whatever visualization it is, or knowing, and be able to not be a part of it, to be able to be like the Temperance card and I'm surprised the Temperance card is now, but to be able to transmute that energy very, very quickly, give yourself an energy imprint of it, acknowledge it and release it, and not hold on to it. And I think this psyop was, you know, put into the spiritual community, especially from like the hippie age, to weaken the state of the strength of an empath, when an empath doesn't take on this label of victim and feeling like the very victims that they are feeling for, to be able to almost be like, say, what example do I want to give? Okay, no, that one doesn't work. Okay, so if you've got some boiling water and you, the empath, are the pan, the saucer, you the empath, are you know, wrapping yourself around this boiling water like empaths want to do with many people, you know, hugging it, holding space and time for it, allowing it to reach that boiling point, the water being another person, you know, that is hurt or angry, and they're reaching that boiling point. If you as the pan were to take it all on board and not just hold space and time for it, you would crack or you would melt, because you would be absorbing that heat too much. You wouldn't be holding it, just holding space and time for it. Does that make sense? I don't know if it does. But if you hold on to it, you're actually holding on to that energy, so that you're not even being as, if you absorb it, sorry, you're not even being as effective as you were born to be as an empath, because you are, you know, creating space then for that same feeling or that same anger or that same hurt to stay apparent. But as the pan of, you hold that boiling water, it reaches boiling point, and then you can let it simmer down, still holding space and time for it, but never actually absorbing that water, never actually taking it on board as your own. I don't even know if that made sense, but it's what I'm trying to say. So as far as individual lives, there's some of you that it might come up that something that maybe still needs to be looked at as to what you are attracting in, regarding what inner work still needs to be done, as to what nightmare situation is actually apparent in your own lives, separate from this external taking on board others' pain as an empath. Some of you, it might be that you went above and beyond, I'm going to be honest, for some people, and it's backfired, because you wanted to do good for them, you did good in that moment, but because you did it all for them, this person is back to where they were, and also now you're getting burnt by it also, which is not nice at all. I want to take you to the clarifying card, after that long, probably useless description of the boiling water, and it's the Magician. And so in this card, again, it is super, super descriptive. So you've got here all of the tools, all of the experiences that make up and mold these tools for the Magician to use. You're making a connection that as above, so below, you be in the balance point, you be in the body of consciousness, of center point, of a conduit. And so we've got the sword that is against the fire, and it's, you know, that's the sword is being fired up, it's been strengthened into shape. We've also got the cup, you know, the cup runneth over. You always have enough. There's always something in your cup. There's a balanced emotional place. There's a way that you can use those emotions. There's a way that you can use your waters and keep those waters balanced still within you. You've got the oh, my words. You've got the infinity sign above, creating this, you know, the cycle that you can make of this what you will for your future. This carrying on, carrying forward, regardless, when it's clarified with this 9 of swords. We've also got here, now I want to bring your attention to it. It's a bit obscure with the title of the magician, but we've got the pentagram here in the circle. We've got the ankh here, and this is simplifying in this card, you know, being anchored to being grounded. So you're anchoring the below with the above that is reaching the infinite, and you are the balance point in between the two. But this pentagram, I mentioned yesterday, and some people picked up on it, which was awesome, the symbols, which I talk about a lot. And the symbols, everybody claiming that their thing, their religion, their this, their that, made the symbol, that you know, it's their symbol to have, when indeed these symbols are a life of their own. I feel that energy creates them, and certain perfect equations create them, and they reflect certain perfections, certain balance points for certain aspects of our reality. And so this pentagram, a lot of people are terrified of the pentagram now, and that all comes through indoctrination, because we have the fact that the pentagram itself has belonged to all sorts of sectors of the occult, and even what we see now as organized religious cults. And so we see that we've got this, it's seen as a magical symbol, and we've got it going back absolutely to the ancient Chinese religions and Japanese religions, and them believing that it was a symbol that was considered magical, that was considered protective. We've got the ancient Babylonian a culture that was also using the pentagram to represent the various gods, the sense of perfection. And we've got in Christianity, the pentagram was used widely, and they still use it. They just don't like the people who are paying their tithe to know that they use it now. But they used it absolutely. They had it without the circle, and it represented the 5 elements. It represented the earth. You see here on all of the points, the earth, the water, the fire, and the air. And also at the top represented, this top point represented spirit. So the most heightened of consciousness. And then we've got the fact that it was very much so a great deal a part of Christianity. Why? Because they stole it from the Wicca, the pagans. They stole it from those that used it for white magic. Now, the white magic pentagram always has a circle around it, and this is to represent the fact that it is the infinity, the binding of all of the elements, the binding of the 5 elements, and then the protective sphere, the protection of self. So you represent all of those 5 elements, and then you protect it with that circle. You know how to protect self, how to create those magical barriers of false self. And so we've got this coming up from there. We've got the Freemasons that used it, and all of the Eastern Star organization that used it, and the Pythagoreans using it as an ancient symbol, and often adding more to it also. I keep losing my thing. Oh, there I am. So, but then we've got the fact that, you know, I can't remember when it was, but all of a sudden Christianity started to see it as an evil symbol, because then we have it magically starting to be inverted. And I think, I feel that it was in fact the Christians that did this to start, because they knew that the pagans and the Wicca, you know, had used it, and the most or a lot of the symbols and teachings that they were given in Christianity was of pagan origin, because they wanted to take over. And so the best thing they could do was to invert the symbol and make it feel like something was evil, that there were people were all of a sudden putting the material elements above spirit, above the spirit at the top here. So inverting it would mean that all of the other elements are being put before the spirit, and the spirit, the most holy of holy to the Christians, is being put down to the bottom. And so then it becomes this dangerous symbol that is not a symbol of life itself, of protection, of what would be calling, you know, high frequency magic. It would be called white magic for some people, but, you know, nevertheless, you know, high frequency, I like to say, magic with good intent. So yet this is yet another lesson in this card to say that these symbols have been stolen from us, and the ancient knowledge of what these symbols can unwrap for us is so beautiful. But even then, we've been indoctrinated to be frightened to use them, to be frightened to even claim them as our own and put our own interpretation on them, because that's what people have done. Yeah, and we need to know this, that this is what people have done. They claim it to be, oh no, it was always this, oh no, it was always that. Well, all of these different sectors of society that were of a similar either belief system or a similar inclination, they can't all be wrong and they can't all be right, but yes, they can at the same time, because these different sectors can just use these symbols, yes, for the basis of what they are, but then it's their intent that they use these symbols, the intent that they put into these symbols and feed into these symbols becomes a reality, very much so. So it's, again, another huge lesson in one card as to why, you know, these different sectors that have been organized into religions rather than just a way of being, or into societies rather than just a way of being with base knowledge and then putting your own intent to it, is so ridiculous. It's so redundant now, and we're being shown that more and more. So this Magician card anyway is showing you that anything that is being taken from you, anything that is stripping you even of a good night's sleep, you can be the magician in this area of your life. You can indeed take yourself, even in the sleep realm, and have absolutely, with a little practice, authority over yourself and protection over yourself, even in your sleep realm. You can even get shit done in your sleep realm. You are able to go and know more of self, or go and investigate, you know, the etherical, go remote view, go do whatever you want to do in your sleep realm, knowing that you have all of the tools and all of the experiences, or you can indeed gain them, and you can take authority over your sleep just as much as you can take authority over your day. All of these things, experiences, all of these swords above your head that might have caused you this worry and this fear, this restless sleeping. You can create every one of these swords to represent a tool on your magician's table, you can turn that around. You can recognize that you are the infinite and you have time to turn things around, and that you can absolutely be in authority of which direction you go in now. That each of these hurts, each of these painful swords that are over your head, you can absolutely convert each and every one of them with your own magic into something that is useful for you, another tool, another experience, another part of your wisdom, another aspect of self, whatever it might be. But you can take authority over this and do this, and you can connect your above to your below and vice versa, to create that higher consciousness, to create that increased wisdom and power in self. What else did I want to say about that card? Yeah, that's it. So you've got the Nine of Swords, not pleasant, not nice, if you're witnessing it anyone else, or it is indeed you. But then the Magician, the major arcana, comes in at a 1. So you're creating a 10 straight away. That 10 is the end of a cycle and the beginning of a new. So you can end this cycle for yourself today if this is you. And if it's somebody that you know, if you don't think they'll take the telling from you, show them this video. And see if it's their choice whether they take it or not, but it's certainly not your problem to absorb and keep for yourself. The next card is the 10 of Swords. So with that magician work, with that taking authority and recognizing who you are and the powers that you actually hold, you get to the 10 of Swords anyway, which is, listen, there's no more room in your back. There's no more space for any more wounds. And actually, when you get to this 10, it's a point of no return. You sort of think, yeah, I just don't care what you throw at me, whether that is those so-called powers that be, which is where I think they're really over amping their feeling of confidence, of control over so many people. I think they've really misinterpreted the power of this stirring, this awakening. And also people in your individual life, it might be that you have carried these burdens for so long, that you have carried their burdens for so long, that they never ever thought you'd get to the point of the 10 of, yeah, can't take any more swords, can't take any more pain or stress. I'm done. I'm done. And this is what's happening. You've died unto yourself that was covered in worry, in fear, in woe, in heaviness. Look, this person's dead. So whatever that aspect of self is, whether it's you or somebody you know, this is the gone, dead, finito. There's no more of that. And the beautiful thing is, to clarify that, is the Two of Cups. So this is balance and harmony. This is your divine feminine and divine masculine in absolute harmony and absolute balance. Or indeed it is you having the space in your life all over again to create something new with somebody else who is of the same frequency, as of same intent, as of same knowing, or just similar knowing, or very complementary knowing and frequency. And so this is where you do create this space. You do go back to completely redirecting this compass, this wheel of fortune, and completely rewriting your world to the point where very, very quickly, from this space, you'll look back and think, damn, doesn't feel like that was me living that life. It doesn't feel like that was me. You'll feel like you're looking at somebody else in a movie screen, remembering the sleepless nights, remembering the nightmares, remembering this mental torture. So it's a huge day for growth, and a huge day for creating space in your life for the new, for what this Page of Wands goes for. And going back to this Ace of Wands also, you know, creating something that is passionate, that is exciting, and that is of high frequency and knowledge and truth and balance. And so this is a beautiful energy. It really is, in that it's, I know people think I'm a bit sadistic or crazy, but I can look at these cards and I can see such beauty in these cards. And because in a lot of these moments in my own life, to speak from experience, these are the moments that, damn, they're not pleasant when I'm in them. But the moment of being able to lift perception, to change the perception of the same situation, that same situation changes very quickly also. It gets me very quickly. You can push me and push me, I'll put up with so much, and then once I get to the 10 of Swords, that's it, done, gone, no more. I won't hold a grudge, I won't hold any harm towards anybody, I won't, but that's me done, I'm tapped out. And so this is where I think a lot of you are today, or for those that resonate with this reading. And there is beauty in this, because not only are you going to release yourself out of this, but also you have all of these lessons, all of these swords, all of this training, so to speak, to be your own magician, to create something beautiful, but also be able to go forward confidently, knowing that you need not repeat those same lessons that created those swords in the first place, because you've grown from them, you've learned from them, you haven't forgotten them. They're there, they're in your library. Oh, the Ace of Wands in that library. You're creating more and more records of what works and what doesn't, what to avoid and what to go forward with, and what is unavoidable, how to quickly transmute it. All of these, this library of books of experience, this is the beauty that I see in this reading. So love you all. Stay balanced and stay whole. And remember, if you'd like a personal reading or any energy workout sessions or any spiritual coaching sessions, I guarantee you'll feel more whole than when we started them. You can get me at truedivinemedia@gmail.com, or you can get me on Facebook Messenger at truedivine44. I love and appreciate you all. Have an awesome day. Make the most of your day and leave a comment as to how your day is going. Mwah.